typically when people go for small bets in highly unpredictable domains and in a field that nobody really understands very well, you have a huge upside. Okay, and so you can look at the P&L of people who've done that: movies, pharma,
biotech,
real estate. If I walked into the Black Swan when I was writing it, thinking that most money was made in America by innovation and high tech and stuff like that, it turned out to be false. The big bucks were made in America, big fortunes. All right, if you look at the time, I look at net worth of people. The big fortunes were made in real estate. And then I understood why it was a sucker game. Because real estate is long volatility for the owner of the house, so you can borrow, and short for the bank, which explained why the banks never made money. And individuals made tons of money on real estate. And real estate was a good business, for these people because they have a free option.
And it's funny, too, like the housing crisis began long before... Or not the crisis, but housing was going down for a year and a half before the banks blew up. So housing was handling itself fine, but then the financial crisis happened as a result of
because the way they package things. But typically banks are good at giving people free options. I remember Manufacturers Hanover went bust because Donald Trump made bad bets. And eventually Donald Trump got rich, all right? But Manufacturers Hanover became part of Chemical Bank, became part of... now J.P. Morgan, you see. So the mistakes of if a mistake can blow you, up, you're not a good business. But what's worse is when someone has an asymmetry. My mistakes blow up the bank, not me. You see,
right?
Or because the way they finance it, and also and what it did, even had they not done that, when I looked at the risk of Fannie Mae. Huge, even without these packages, banks were overexposed to downside of real estate.
So right now in the economy, where do you see the biggest bubbles or risks or
I don't know. I mean, I make bets, all right? So my bets are out-of-the-money bets, so it's not a predictive bet. I made, after the crisis, I initially made bets on gold, and then I was long gold, short S&P, and then ended up long both. Right, and then I ended up getting rid of my gold. And why did I have the S&P? Because I said, okay, flooding money in the system, going to either harm the bonds, help the stocks, or both. So, and then I started getting short bond in and out. Right, so I had S&P with a shortish bond position, and it paid off. Right, so the quantitative easing with some long real estate. All right, that paid off, pay off, and then I. Because I said, okay, the only way they're curing the system is by giving free money. So you people free money will go buy. So it worked out fine. And so I tell you, because skin in the game, I only look at my thing. And then I bought some euros, right? When Europe was, because people on TV would go and say, oh, Europe, as if it was a catastrophe. It was like Dresden, with a big hole, was smoking like Syria. Pictures of Syria today. And I bought some Europe, or I bought European currency because they weren't engaged in the same thing, and then I got out of it. So now my exposures now I would say are minimal to anything. Now, so given that, it means I don't have a view of anything, but I'm trying to get out of trouble.
But it's good sometimes. It's I would say anti-fragile sometimes to minimize. Sometimes
you want to be in cash. My only risk of being in cash is you miss on. You can have inflation, okay, or you miss on something. So there's risks of being in cash. What I call cash, I have two cash. I have cash that can be invested, and I have what I call numeraire, protect me from inflation, which is a basket. Mm-hmm. And that basket contains some real estate, not much, some stocks, not much, some. You always have to have something that protects you because the big tail risk is I work all my life, I have a good life to. Things can be harmed by inflation, all right? Or you can have asset price inflation, but not inflation, which is what we have now, all right? Which is worse, actually, because you see all the things you wanted to buy running away from you, and then the other things are not. So I have some hedge there, okay, some agricultural stuff like that, just to say this is hedged for inflation, okay? But I would say I'm monstrously underinvested now with the rest. Okay, also, I mean...
To the point where you feel bad? Like you're an investor at heart?
To the point that I don't look at a screen. You know that you're underinvested when you can go for 2 days without looking at a screen. How many hours you can go without looking at a stock market screen? You see, if I have
Good formula.
If I have to look at it with high frequency, it means I'm over invested. Okay, and then you become victim to noise and stop losses. If I'm looking at it with like now, I couldn't care less. And if I'm looking at it, healthily, like I would like to be healthily, it means it was a good enough a frequency. Then I'm calibrated, but I've never really been calibrated. I've been moved. I typically go from total indifference to maximum interest.
What about, like, given your ideas on pharma? What about big pharma has the risk of FDA regulations, but then you have like biotechs, well-funded biotechs that can do more trial and error.
Biotech is a very interesting domain. Biotech, particularly that they're underestimated by the market because they can have a huge discovery that will change everything. You see, small probability. That's not part of the data. But I'm not involved. There's just too much headaches trying to figure it out. It's just, I have a comfortable life. I don't want to mess it up by having complicated stuff. But sometimes for entertainment, I do trades. And typically I go with the irrational, which is strange for someone who likes the irrational, because it seems to me that if something is irrational, it means to be a hidden reason behind it. You see? If something, like, for example, when I went into Europe was very, 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 very steady. And everybody said it's bad news. If the journalists say it's bad news and the stock market is not, I go with the stock market. You see? Or I go with the currency. I go with the element. But I'm not too much in the market. Plus, of course, I have a convex bet on the crash in the stock market.
So
typically, I would say my position would be in the stock market. The way I do it is I belong to the stock market. I lose money if there's a 10% drawdown, but if there's a 20% drawdown, I make tons.
Because you buy out of the money puts.
Because I'm always has this kind of out of the money thing. I played with bonds, but now it's difficult with bonds.
Oh, even though there's most likely some sort of bubble in bonds at some point.
Yeah, I don't want to miss it. I don't want to miss
it.
I don't want to miss it. But to express it with a positive carry is hard. So sometimes you go in. I don't want to think about it. So you go out.
Too complicated.
Yeah, but I have enough gold, in my own thing, and I have enough short bonds in my core, what I call numeraire, that I don't have to worry much about that.
So Black Swan, you're saying sold very well.